Your life does not change when you discipline or force yourself to act according to your belief system and thoughts, regardless of how you're feeling. As in, do the things or not do the things that you believe you should or shouldn't be doing. Force yourself to do them regardless of however you're feeling. But your life changes when you stop feeling altogether as if you need or want to be doing the things that are no longer aligned with your beliefs or thoughts. Because that's when you know that your internal alignment has shifted. And understanding this has changed my life. I feel that we've used up the term changed so randomly in the most random ways that it got so mixed up in a soup of definitions and understandings that in no way represents it. Because real change has the potential to completely change your life. When you truly change internally, you could very easily shift your entire reality, shift your life completely. You know, the few times I was able to experience a real change internally, I found that my life, that my external reality quickly adapted to that internal change some way or another. But there were also many times in which I thought that I'm changed, but I was more or less fundamentally the same. You know, it's like the differences between you consciously choosing to not go out with a specific group of friends because you no longer resonate with them, but you still feel lonely. You still sit down by yourself alone and beat yourself up for it. You still wishing that you had some friends. You still wishing that you were able to connect with them on some level, and you start adversely acting against against yourself, that you hate yourself for not being able to connect with them because you're feeling lonely. You want someone, you want that connection. And it's the difference between this and you truly reaching to a state in which you're very content being alone, in which you're very satisfied by yourself, in which you really don't feel as if you want to go out with them on any level. You found a way to enjoy your own company. And it's not really, and the change does not come in discipline or you forcing your way through to something, but rather it's when you're effortlessly, when your actions are aligned with your thoughts and your thoughts with your emotions, and they're all aligning with whatever belief you have formed, that you don't resonate with them, that you don't want to do that thing, that you don't want to go out with them, that you want to be doing those things. And it all happens so effortlessly. You're not disciplining yourself, you're not trying to force your way through, you're not waiting for it to get done just so you could relapse to old patterns. Because there were some points in my life in which I thought, I'm changed, I'm doing something new, I'm disciplining myself, I'm applying discipline, and I'm focusing on something. At that point, I had something going on in which I would, like, whenever I would complete a major task, when I would get something major done in my life, I would achieve something or do something, and I would feel good about it. I would give myself like a day or a few days of, overindulgence, just wasting time, just completely, staying in bed, binge watching series or scrolling on my phone or indulging in whatever, debauchery I could, at that point. And then at that point in which I would be applying discipline, and, I wanted to take that out of my life. I did not want to be doing this, but I still felt that I want to be doing this. Every time I completed something, I would find myself called to go overindulge in something, to hang out with those friends I did not resonate with, to do this or that, to go out for this, or, do whatever. I felt I wanted to do those things, but I was barely holding myself back. And that's not changed. When you're barely trying to make it through without relapsing to an old pattern. That does not mean you're changed. Just because you're doing different things, just because you're forcing yourself to do different things, it does not mean that this is true. But there was other times in which I truly felt like I did not care. I did not want to indulge in those things. They're not interesting to me any longer. I don't want to sit in bed and, stay in bed all day and waste time. That thing did not resonate with me. And when you truly feel that this thing does not resonate with you, you're always doing something else. You're always enjoying something else. You're doing other things out of enjoyment, out of love, out of passion, not out of fear of not getting it done or not having what you want out of it, or out of fear that you might, if you don't do it, you might relapse to how your life seemed to be. Your life, you're gonna attract past experiences. They're gonna give you the same emotions. You're gonna feel the same things, and you don't like those things, so you're forcing yourself to do those things. Change comes, at that time when I truly changed, I was just getting into gardening and meditation, and I was doing yoga, and that completely changed my life. I was no longer interested in the same things I was interested in. And my life quickly adapted. I did that for less than, just like a few weeks, less than a month, way less than a month. And then completely, now I have new friends. I'm doing something I really love. I'm very content with where I am. I love everything about my life, and suddenly things started popping out. I'm making a living out of something I love. I have new friends that I really resonate with, that I really love. But that time I felt that I was no longer interested in whatever I used to do and however I used to react. I'm not barely, holding myself from getting ill-tempered, from reacting negatively to someone, from having a negative attitude, from, just bashing out on something that angers me or that threatens me in some way or another. I'm not holding myself from overindulgence in pleasurable experiences or whatever. I was not interested. I was simply interested in whatever I was doing, and the new practices I adopted, and the new life I'm having. And then completely my external and the new practices and behaviors that I was doing, and then in the very few friends that I had. I would be going out just weekly, and I never felt lonely during that period. And then my external reality quickly adapted to that. It got me new friends that resonated with me. It got me new life, a new place, a new living, a new everything. And I was really feeling at peace. And very soon after I stopped feeling the same way, and I started relapsing to how I used to be before I had all of those changes, it disappeared. It started gradually leaving, getting out of my life. That's alignment. That's how it works. Over and over again, it made itself very evident to me. That's real change. You change, and your life is changing according to how you're changing. So if you're not experiencing the type of things you want to be experiencing, then you're not changed enough, then you're not aligned yet with those things. And yeah, they tell you, take baby steps every day, take committed action, focus on your actions. But it's not really focusing on your actions as much as focusing on yourself. It's not that you're gonna apply discipline and then, it's gonna work out, but it's gonna take very long time. Because this discipline you're applying, doing whatever you're doing, it has to turn into love to whatever you're doing, and this interest in whatever you used to do. And that takes time before you're able to shift your reality. It has to turn into those things, and that takes time. But when you focus on yourself, I was just, to me it just came that I wanted to love God for God, experience God for God, love myself just for myself. I wanted to be those things. I was interested in meditating. I've already been on, I've already had a spiritual awakening a while before, and I was interested in that. I wanted to have that life. I was really interested in it. I was doing it out of love, out of knowing what it really is about. And the more I did it, the more I fell in love with it, and I became uninterested in whatever I used to do. This was my pleasure. This was my spare time. You know, I would do things, I would look things up, I would be reading, I would be gardening, I would be, indulging in healthy habits, I'd be eating healthy. I did not want to have that dopamine rush of eating junk food. I was juicing whatever I was growing, and I was eating basically smoothies, not even smoothies, just juiced fruits and veggies. And I was loving it. I did not want to do anything. I was not missing out on anything. I did not feel like I was barely holding myself back from doing something else. That was it for me. That was my life. That was my happiness. That was my joy, my love, my passion, my joy, my pleasure. And accordingly, life adapted. And so that's when you know how your life is about to change. When you don't feel like you need to apply all of this discipline and antagony and doing this and that. I feel like I was saying something, but I missed my trail of thoughts before, but yeah, focus on yourself. Focus on doing it for yourself. Love yourself for yourself, in other words, not for something else. And when you start focusing on yourself, when you start finding whatever makes you happy, whatever, doing things out of love, out of passion, really being true to yourself, because that's your most genuine self. When you're not trying to reverse or adapt or barely hold yourself or apply discipline, being your genuine self, but being it in the direction you want your life to go, that's when it starts. So find yourself something that you love doing. Find what is it from within you. Really sit with yourself and ask yourself, if no one existed, if no one was watching, if there was no expectations whatsoever on me, if there were no societal standards, what would I want to be doing? What is it for me? And get yourself closer to that, And soon after you start doing it, it's gonna be out of love. You're gonna feel that passion. Ignore all of your external reality for sometimes, your external experiences, situations. Let it be for some time now. Ignore it. Even if you want to tell yourself it's just for a few days. Don't get too attached to whatever is happening that's making you desperate, that's making you go in directions you don't want to go to, that's making you resort to your coping mechanisms and this and that and whatever other negative habits or things or behaviors that you don't want to shift your life towards. And simply love yourself. Meditation is an amazing way, meditation holds so much power in lowering your dependency on whatever external factors and making you come to your truth, aligning you with your truth. So empower yourself for life to empower you once again. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video by AfsConsciousFrequency. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it.